that my mother had died.
What about you?
About how you saw it.
Thank you.
Why me all that? What else would I do with myself?
Hi, I'm Erik Singer.
Erik is a dialect coach who helps actors with their accents in film and television.
Let's look at some clips.
Southern accent.
Brad Pitt, Inglourious Bastards.
They're the foot soldiers of a Jew-hating, mass-murdering maniac, and they need to be destroyed.
Tennessee accents and Southern accents in general have something called goose fronting,
Sound good?
which is that the vowel in words like goose, Jew, humanity,
Humanity.
cruel,
We will be cruel to the Germans.
is fronter in the mouth. So Jew, humanity, cruel. He doesn't really get that.
That's what I like to hear.
Nigerian accent.
Will Smith, concussion.
If you continue to deny my work, the world will deny my work.
Smith is playing a real person here,
That's it. That's all I am.
Bennett Omalu, who has a somewhat Americanized Nigerian accent.
So, oh, Will Smith playing me.
Smith doesn't seem to be going for Omalu's voice so much as
Tell the truth.
kind of generalized Nigerian or African accent.
Tell the truth.
Listen to those TH sounds in this.
This is bigger than they are.
They should be dentalized. This, they.
This is bigger than they are.
Impersonation of Truman Capote.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, Capote.
I'd only just handed them the final scene when the bellhop told me I had a phone call.
This is just amazing in every way. His particular vocal quality and mannerisms are just like Capote's.
I think journalism can be taught, but I don't think creative writing can be taught.
The accent is dead on perfect,
And it was my stepfather, Joe Capote,
and the accent's totally integrated.
calling to say that my mother had died.
It's integral to the character and what the actor is doing as the character.
He had quite a lot to say about us.
Boston accent.
Michael Keaton, Spotlight.
This is our town, Jimmy. Everybody knew something was going on, and no one did a thing.
He's going for a Boston accent that has one of the stereotypical markers, which is a lot, God, hot vowel. He says on one time,
Come on.
and he says on the next time.
Something was going on.
He doesn't do that rounding on confirmation.
Unless I get confirmation.
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 He should.
We got to put an end to it.
Polish accent.
Kate Winslet, Jobs.
That you told her you weren't going to pay for Harvard.
This is really good for the most part.
Thank you.
A thing that she doesn't quite get is the oral posture. Her mouth is very open. Again, maybe theater training. The more you open your mouth, the more sound comes out.
It's a little thing.
Have a look at Johanna Hoffman's jaw.
All software developers.
It's a much closer jaw. It's much higher, less space between the teeth.
Extremely easy to use.
Look at Kate Winslet's.
But what you make isn't supposed to be the best part of you?
Much more open. Meryl Streep in Sophie's Choice, check out her jaw.
I had a lover who was very, very good to me.
Belfast accent.
Tom Cruise, Far and Away.
Grace isn't a tramp. She's a dancer in the Burley Queue. She's my sister.
You know, I'm sure this could have been better.
Enough.
The actor probably wasn't given enough time to prepare.
Said that. That's enough.
The vowel sounds in like
Why can't you say you like my suit?
and hat
Can't you say you like my hat?
keep going all over the place.
You like my hat.
Sometimes they're close, sometimes they're just
Say it!
Tom Cruise.
I've earned this.
French accent.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, The Walk.
The stairs going up. Go back to the hotel. If I'm not back in 5 hours, look for me at the police station.
Yeah, so this is pretty good. There are definitely things that could be improved. Here's a good thing. Listen to the vowel in stop.
They just rise and never stop. It's not human.
Pretty dead on. So you might pull out his R sounds here as being inconsistent. Sometimes he's got a French uvular
They just scale. They just scale.
sometimes a more American sounding r.
They just rise. They just rise.
But people are inconsistent. That's real. That TH sound.
I'm mad with this. This is my dream.
He nails it, and it's too easy. That's hard for a French speaker.
Voila.
Idris Elba, Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom.
My lord, it is not I but the government that should be put in the dock.
This is a great job. Elba does a lot to capture Mandela's particular vocal characteristics and mannerism and placement.
Which I hope to live for.
He's actually got a little bit of a retracted, a pulled back tongue root. Listen to the word prepared.
I am prepared.
As opposed to prepared.
I am prepared.
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 We call that the square lexical set. It should be a monophthong for Mandela and Xhosa accents generally, whereas Elba makes it a diphthong.
I plead not guilty.
Southern accent.
Nicolas Cage, Con Air.
I got nothing in common with them, with you. They were insane. It's my daughter's birthday today.
I don't know what happened to the actor's prep here.
My first thought would be a lot.
This doesn't really hit any of the marks. Southern accents have vowel breaking in words like creep and freak.
They somehow managed to get every creep and freak in the universe.
Which means there's a little wiggle. Creep and freak.
Creep and freak.
Also, a vowel in a word like plane.
Onto this one plane.
Should start lower. You're not hearing any of that.
Wasn't my fault.
Wyoming, Texas accents.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Heath Ledger, Brokeback Mountain.
Have you been in Mexico, Jack Twist? Because I hear what they got in Mexico for boys like you.
Hell yes, I've been in Mexico.
Gyllenhaal nails his Wyoming accent here. Listen to the vowel in one and once, how it's all the way back in his mouth.
I did once.
You can also hear it in couple of high-altitude fucks.
Couple of high-altitude fucks once or twice a year?
I love Heath's performance here.
I ain't joking.
The character's tightness and repression and kind of struggle with himself is mirrored in his posture.
Nothing. I'm nowhere.
Look at the way his jaw and his lips are held tight all the time. You can even see him listening through that posture.
Why don't you just let me be, huh?
English accent.
Kevin Costner, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
The sheriff calls us outlaws. But I say we are free.
So this is like the paradigm of bad movie accents. This is the one everybody brings up. For good reason.
And faced with the price for it may be dear.
He can't make up his mind whether to leave the R's in or take them out.
He's more powerful than 10 hired soldiers.
Nothing's right here.
Then I say we can win.
Wrong.
Creole accent from Sierra Leone.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Blood Diamond.
You get for penny first for them. You get one more dead body. Instead of aeroplane, way forward grenade launcher.
DiCaprio is speaking a West African Creole here called Creole.
Then government at least then go pay me, huh?
All rotten AK them.
No, all rotten AK them.
Against them government troop.
Against them government troop.
It's a creditable job, but...
This no fine, huh?
It's a little marred by some West Indian intonation.
Are you Chris?
Otherwise, it's pretty good.
Are you Chris?
David Oyelowo, Selma.
For we shall be victorious in our quest. We shall cross the finish line hand in hand.
David's not doing an impersonation. It's more of an evocation, which means he's just suggesting this very familiar voice.
I'm so glad we're here together today.
Listen to how much of his vocal range Martin Luther King Jr. actually uses.
A man dies when he refuses to stand up for justice.
And compare it to David Oyelowo.
We shall cross the finish line hand in hand.
Not quite the same.
Baltimore accent.
Idris Elba, The Wire.
You're not gonna bring that corner bullshit up in here, you hear me? I want this to run like a true fucking business.
This is amazing. Elba was working on this accent for years. One thing this accent doesn't have is a really interesting Baltimore-specific African-American pronunciation of words like to, you.
What do you do? Follow through. What about you?
Which you can hear from other actors in the same show who are actually Baltimore natives. Listen to Prop Joe nail it.
My nephew.
Japanese accent. Mickey Rooney.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
You disturb me! You must have a key me!
Who the f*** let this happen?
Vintage New York City accent.
Daniel Day-Lewis, Gangs of New York.
And I want you to go out there, you, nobody else, to punish the murdering this poor little rabbit.
It's always tough to do a historical accent. Do you go for absolute accuracy at the risk of alienating the audience and making it inaccessible?
You may have misgivings, but don't go believing that, Jack.
And I think he walks the line brilliantly here. The tip of his tongue hits a different place, hits his teeth, which is characteristic of a New York accent.
Tell me, this charge, does it sit uneasy with you?
He also gets a lot of nasality into the accent.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Still maintains a lot of color and expression.
Help yourself to some decent meat on the way out.
Scottish accent.
Mel Gibson, Braveheart.
And I see a whole army of my countrymen here in defiance of tyranny.
You know, I think maybe Gibson gets a bad rap for this performance.
Yes, I've heard.
It does slip out.
Why does it go?
But when it's on, it's pretty good. For example,
fight and you may die. Run and you'll live.
That's pretty good.
I give you thanks.
Russian accent.
Viggo Mortensen, Eastern Promises.
If you can prove baby was his and girl was underage, that is statutory rape.
Yeah, Mortensen does a pretty creditable job here, but
Please.
It doesn't feel quite integrated. It's a little general.
For poetic reasons.
It's not that the sounds are off. They're all pretty good.
Okay.
It just feels a little stiff and a little careful. The accent hasn't quite settled in yet.
Thank you.
Not like a real person speaking.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Afrikaans accent.
Matt Damon, Invictus.
Please, Mr. President. It makes complete sense to me. In the bus, on the way to the stadium. Nobody talks.
Damon prepped really well for this role, and it's just a great job on an accent that's usually really hard for Americans.
This is our destiny!
There's always something to pick on. Listen to the line that has chosen and know in it.
Something I've chosen. One we all know.
Nails that vowel the first time.
Something I've chosen.
Not so much the second time.
One we all know.
Paraguayan accent.
John Voight, Anaconda.
Never look in the eyes of those you kill. They will haunt you forever.
I have no idea what that accent was.
I know.
Kate Blanchett, The Aviator.
He's a urologist, but it's all tied up inside the body, don't you find?
So this is a great evocation of Katharine Hepburn's particular idiolect. If I had to quibble with it, I'd say that Blanchett relies really strongly on Hepburn's timbre and intonation.
You're deaf.
She doesn't quite have the posture. She has a very open jaw, perhaps from her theatre training.
If you're deaf, you must own up to it.
As opposed to the sort of high, tight, and slightly forward jaw that Katharine Hepburn had.
Women and men simply are not the same.
Men can't be friends with women, Howard.
They're just not the same.
English accent.
Angelina Jolie, Maleficent.
I really felt quite distressed at not receiving an invitation.
So Jolie's going for a slightly old-fashioned, very posh English accent here.
Well, well.
What we'd call received pronunciation, and she does a great job of it.
Oh dear.
Listen to the way she says the words royalty,
Royalty,
nobility,
nobility,
gentry,
gentry.
and those short ending I sounds. You won't really hear that in English accents anymore.
How quaint.
Russian accent.
John Malkovich, Rounders.
And in my club, I will splash the pot whenever the I please. Respect is all you have left in the morning.
So Russian-speaking English will sometimes stick a little y sound in.
Alligator blood.
And what Malkovich does here is something that no Russian speaker speaking English would actually do, which is palatalize everything. The way Malkovich says this,
I call,
is overenthusiastic. You'll never hear that from an actual Russian speaker.
Chick, he tripped me!
London accent.
Renee Zellweger, Bridget Jones's Diary.
The greatest book of our time. One of the top 30.
Music, oral posture, these things are all going really, really well.
Thank you.
She does lateral plosion on words like gentleman.
Gentlemen.
That's exploding the T sound straight into the L sound and is difficult for a lot of people.
Gentlemen.
Gentle.
Gentlemen.
And it's that estuary English accent that she's going for with a character.
Properly.
German accent.
Brad Pitt, 7 Years in Tibet.
The one. Raising their flag is an honor the Chinese don't deserve.
This could be better. Listen to the words have.
You have the entire palace in a panic.
And kind.
Kind of difficult in a glass house, no?
In German, the consonants at the ends of words are devoiced, and this carries over into English. So a word like have.
You have the entire palace.
Is going to have a f sound at the end. A word like kind.
Kind of difficult.
Is going to have more like a t sound at the end. So hef and kind, which is really hard for a German to do speaking English.
Belfast accent.
Brad Pitt, Snatch.
Brings a fella the size of you unless they're trying to say something they're talking, right, bye? Why the f do I want a caravan? It's got no f***ing wheels.
Belfast English can be really hard for American ears to understand.
Yeah, what's about how you saw it?
Listen to the vowels in the words car.
You got a car. You got a car.
Which is just great. Contrast that with in The Devil's Own when he says see.
Lost and rocking at the sea.
And sleep.
There is no more peaceful way of going to sleep.
And he just doesn't have it.
New York City accent.
Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight.
But I know the truth. There's no going back. You've changed things. Forever.
This is a weird, idiosyncratic American accent.
You.
For a weird, idiosyncratic character.
Complete me.
I love the way he's able to maintain his accent, even with this weird tongue flicky outy gesture that he does that's part of the character.
English accent.
Keanu Reeves, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I know where the bastard sleeps. I brought him there.
I've seen many strange things already. Bloody wolves chasing me through some blue inferno.
So Southern English accents are non-rhotic. You leave the R sound out after a vowel in a word like inferno.
Blue inferno.
He can't make up his mind whether to do it or not.
I will give it my full attention.
Vintage California accent.
Daniel Day-Lewis, There Will Be Blood.
One night I'm gonna come to you inside of your house, wherever you're sleeping, and I'm gonna cut your throat.
So this is another flavor of vintage or early American, totally different from Gangs of New York.
Is this about buying out my tracks here?
I love the way he seems to build the accent and even the character around the oral posture.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
He has his tongue bunched up in the middle of his mouth and bracing against the molars, and he lets his cheeks be very loose.
Yes, I do.
His mustache is also perfect.
What else would I do with myself?
English Cockney accent.
Don Cheadle, Ocean's 11.
Hang on, are you accusing me of booby trapping?
There's no way the actor was given enough time to prepare.
Oh, lazy Al.
For example, listen to this line.
It'll be nice working with proper villains again.
None of those vowels really hit their targets.
You had one job to do.
Conclusion.
Look, this stuff isn't easy. Good or bad, these actors all took some serious risks for our entertainment. Big asterisk here. When an accent doesn't go right, it's usually not the actor's fault. It's usually a combination of actor, coach, and production, and often is about not having enough time to prepare before shooting starts. If there's one thing to remember, it's that accent is a crucial layer of storytelling.
Well, like that.
Cool.